Hey everybody, here's this week's homework. I thought as we're not getting much match practice at the moment, I might reintroduce the concept of the press to you. So this isn't about media coverage, this is about how you squeeze the amount of space the other team has got to play in and win the ball high up the pitch as soon as possible. So let's just think about what the press actually means. So if you have ever drunk orange juice or apple juice, you're probably aware that they squeeze the apple or the orange in order to get the juice out of it. So if I take this sponge here, I'll just give you an idea what the press actually is. So if you take this sponge and I press down on it, what it does is it squeezes it down and leaves you less of the sponge there. It's essentially what it is. How does that translate into football terms? So I've got my trusty board here. I'm just going to try and demonstrate a little bit to you. So in this scenario here, we're the yellow team here and we're lining up in our positions and we're ready to attack. The other team, the orange team, they've got the ball here and the goalkeeper's about to take a goal kick. So you'll be familiar with the word press. Essentially it means to go down and close down the opposition and get the ball back from them. So let's see what it looks like if we don't press. So they've got a goal kick. Let's just say that we don't press, any of our team don't press, and we'll see what happens. Well, what will happen is he'll pass the ball out to there, they'll pass the ball there, and they've got lots of time and space to then move forward, and we kind of start then to retreat because they're coming towards our goal. They all start to run forward, and before you know it, they're in on our goal because we haven't tried to tackle them or to press them. So if I reset that a second, let's see what the press actually means. So in the same positions there that they were before, we're in the same position and their goalkeeper's got the ball. So as soon as their goalkeeper presses the ball, we're allowed to go over this centre line, and what I mean by the press is that we run forward to try and get the ball back as high up the pitch as possible. That's the key part about the press. They pass it there, we try and intercept the ball here, and the higher up we get the ball, the closer we are to their goal, and we've got a better chance of scoring the higher we get the ball up. Now, a key concept to this, you'll notice I've moved these three players forward from our halfway line here, and these three here have all stayed back. What that creates is a big gap here for the orange team to go in. So in order to beat the press, all they've got to do is pass the ball in between these three players. Before you know it, they're out of the game, and their players are all attacking us, and again they go forward. So why do I mention that? Well, these three have pressed the ball, they haven't won it, and there's a lot of space for them to work in. So here's the key concept with the press. So remember, we're trying to win the ball back as high up the pitch as possible. But we cannot do it alone. If I go back to my sponge, if I, instead of pressing the whole thing like that, if I was just to press one end of it, you'll notice that one end gets slightly smaller, this end here, but this end is still the same. So it hasn't been pressed. Even if I press it in the middle, the two ends get a little bit smaller, but the middle bit doesn't. What I want to do is press the whole thing to condense it. So what does that look like? So let's go back. So this again, they've got their goal kick here, and this time I'm going to move all of our players, including the goalkeeper, forward in order to press the play. So they passed it, they move forward, but crucially, the whole team moves forward almost as one, including the goalkeeper. What that's doing is that's really pressing the whole of the football match into their half of the field. That's why it's called the press. The key thing about it now, they've got less room to play in here. So they can make a pass there, but this player's on them straight away. They've got a good chance to win the ball back. If they do, then they can go through and goal, or we can go through and goal, or even just get a shot in because we're that much closer to their goal. That's what the press means. It means pushing them into their own half, pressing them into their own half, and winning the ball back as high up as possible. Yes, obviously you would have noticed you've got a big gap here now. So where we had a gap in the middle before, now we've got a big gap here. That's where this person's really important. They've come up really high, but so too is the goalkeeper. You remember the goalkeeping position we did. So if they were to play the ball over all these players that are pressing, this player can come across and cover, or if it's gone far enough, the goalkeeper can come out and collect the ball themselves, and then we regain possession before we try and get it back up as far up the pitch as possible. So that's the key thing about the press. We're going as one team, not as individuals. If we go as individuals, all that'll happen in these scenarios is that they will play off. So let's just go back. If this player number 7 here was going to press on his own, he's got no chance. These players just spread out, get the ball, and they just pass it between them, and before they know it, they're into that space and they're going forward on goal. So that's why it's crucial all of us go, almost like we've got bits of string tied to each other. The gap between our own players starts to get a lot closer. Before we know it, we're winning the ball up here and we've got a better chance of scoring. So that's the press. That's what it's about. Key things to think about. It's about winning the ball as high up the pitch as possible, putting pressure or pressing our opponents back towards their goal in the process of doing that. And crucially, that we all press together as a team, including the goalkeeper who comes up. You remember, from the goalkeeping position, if the ball's up here, the goalkeeper could be out further because the ball's so far up the other end of the pitch. So that's the 3 key things. Win the ball high up the pitch, press the team into their own half, and everybody presses together as one unit. Okay. Well, that's the press. It's just something for you to think about for when we get back, because it's something that definitely Phil and I want, is for us to be spending more time in the opposition's half, winning the ball higher up the pitch in order to get more goals. Okay, hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.